Sawadee Cup. Welcome to Lesson 1. Now, when you're greeting someone, you always put your hands together like this, close to your chin, bow your head a little bit, and say, Sawadee Cup. Now, women, remember, when I say cup, you replace that word with ka. Because remember, men say cup, women say ka. Like I said before in the introduction, cup and ka are not words but polite particles. Now, like I said, they are there to show politeness. Cup is always used by a man, and ka is always used by a woman. Now, when you want to say I, the man says pom, which is a rising tone, and then the woman says di chan, which is a low and a high tone. You can also just say chan for short, which is a universal way of saying I for both men and women, but most women use it though. The word for name, or to be called, is ch. It's a falling tone. It's a very chewy sounding word. For example, pom ch John. If you're a woman and your name was Molly, you could say di chan ch Molly. The word for you is kun, which is a mid-tone. Now, there are other words for you, but the most common used is kun. If your name was Frank, then it could be kun chu Frank, or kun chu Molly. Now, here's a phrase for you to learn. Now, what is the most common thing you hear when you introduce your name? Very nice to meet you. Well, in Thai it is Yindi Tidai Rujak Kun. Am I going too fast for you? Remember what I said about pausing. Go back and hit pause and repeat it. Now, 9 out of 10 times, the response to Yindi Tidai Rujak Kun will end up being Chen Gan, meaning same here. Now, when you want to ask someone how they're doing, normally you would just say, Sabaydi mai, or Sabaydi le. Mai and le are question particles. Now, the way I have le spelled is with an R at the end. Now, you don't pronounce that R. You only pronounce the E as if you were going to eventually pronounce that R. Now, even though both of these words are question particles, there is a difference in when to use them, but we'll get to that later. Now, there are no exact translations for yes and no. There is an affirmation and then there's a negation. For negation, you use the word mai. It's a falling tone. If someone asks you, Sabaydi mai, as in, are you okay? How are you doing? Are you comfortable? And you don't feel very good or whatever, then you say, mai sabay. But if the answer is yes, then you repeat the verb sabay. So if they say, Sabaydi mai, and you are feeling good, and you say, Sabay kap. Now, when someone asks you how you're doing, and you say, I'm doing fine, or I'm not doing fine, what do you usually ask them back? How about you? Well, in Thai, it's quite simple. You say kun, then la. Kun la kap, or kun la ka. So, for example, Sabaydi mai kap. Sabaydi kap. Kun la kap. Quite simple. Also, if you wanted to say that you are also fine, the word for also is gaw. G-A-W with a falling tone. Gaw. Pum gaw sabaydi kap. I'm also fine. Gaw can be used in a lot of different situations, but it usually means also. More on the affirmation and negations later. Now, let's say that someone is talking to you a little bit too fast, or they're slurring their words a little bit, and you just can't understand them. So the first thing you got to say to them is, excuse me, but I can't understand you. Well, excuse me is ka tot, rising, then falling. The word for understand is kao jai, which is a falling, then medium tone. So you would say, "Khao thot kap, my kao jai kap." Excuse me, but I don't understand. More than likely, you're going to want them to speak a lot slower than they are. So the word for speak is put, which is a falling tone. The word for slow is cha, which is a high tone. And the word for can is dai, which is a falling tone. And that's always placed at the end, right before you use the question word. So if you're asking them, "Can you speak slowly, please?" basically you say, "Put cha cha dai mai kap." Now there's no direct translation for the word please, but if you're using cup at the end, or ka, then you're being polite, and that's just another way of saying please. Now if you notice, I said cha twice. Cha cha. Okay, well that's used to enunciate, to emphasize the adjective, and Thais do that a lot, and you'll see what I mean later on down the line. Now if you do ask someone to speak slowly, put cha cha dai mai kap, and if they can, of course they can, then more than likely you're going to hear them say dai kap. Now if they do speak slowly for you, well hey, you're going to want to thank them. The word for thank is khop kun, as in thank you. Most time you hear people say khop kun mak kap. Khop kun mak. Mak means very, much, a lot. It has several different meanings depending on the context. But like I said though, khop kun mak kap. Thank you very much. So what is the automatic response to thank you? You're welcome. Or it doesn't matter. Or it's alright. Well, in Thai, it's mai pen lai. Mai pen lai kap. Now during introductions, someone's going to ask you where you're from. Now the direct English translation would be, you be person what? Kun pen kun alai kap. Now we've already discussed the first word, kun, which is you. Then there's pen, B-P-E-N in English phonetics. If you can't pronounce the B and the P sound, think of it as a very explosive B, pen. Kon, which is middle tone, is person. And then alai, which is what. Now, whenever you're asking a question with the word what will always be, or alai will always be at the end. Kun ben kun alai kap. Ben means to be, by the way. To say what you are is quite very simple. The direct translation would be, I am person, then whatever country you're from. If you are from America, then you are kon America. Pom pen kon America. If you're from England, kon Angkit. If you're from Thailand, kon Thai. If you're from France, kon Francais. If you are from Spain, kon Spain. If you're from Russia, kon Rossiya. If you are from, let's say, China, kon Jin. Japanese, kon Yippun. From Laos, kon Lao. And it goes on and on. We're kind of close to hitting the 10-minute mark on this video, so the next video will be a continuation of this lesson. So, and don't worry, there's going to be a hell of a lot more than just that. So anyways, though, take care. Sawadee kap. Kap kun ma kap. And I will see you in the next video.